floor is he on? Just past the 10-minute mark.
Thank you all. We had a great chat with Mayor Kennedy Stewart, and I'm ready for any questions you might have. There's a mic system going on there. We'll get you in the lineup. But yeah, everyone's going to get a question. I'm like radically open to questions. Please.
Hi, Mr. Singh. It's Annie Bergeron-Oliver from CTV.
And I can't see you,
back
so
here.
I feel like I can't. Yeah.
Hello. I'm
Hi.
over here. CTV News reported last night about a British Columbian man who was given a medically assisted death despite pleas from his family that he was mentally ill and showed no signs of facing imminent death. They say he should not have been given the procedure. Do you think there needs to be an investigation into this case? And do you think that there needs to be clear guidelines on who should be getting medically assisted death in Canada?
So I don't know the details of this case, and so I can't respond to it specifically unless I know more about it. But I can speak to the general concerns. The choice is a very difficult choice, and this is a very hard topic to talk about. But we know we need to make sure that the choice is available to people who want to make that choice, and we have to respect the dignity of a human being who wants to choose to make a very difficult choice. And it is hard to do, but we've got to make sure that the criteria is broad enough to allow people to make that decision. In Quebec, there's a recent court decision that pointed to the fact that currently the guidelines are too restricted and don't allow for people to make the choice when they need to and they want to. But what you're describing is perhaps an area of concern around the safeguards that need to be in place to make sure people make a decision who are in the position to be able to do so.
And just as a follow-up, you mentioned that Quebec case. Do you think that there should be an appeal of the Quebec decision expanding the availability of medically assisted death?
Yes, I've said that before, that I do believe that the criteria should be broader, that the court decision made that very clear, that they found the conditions or the criteria were too restricted and too limited. I do believe that they need to be broad enough to allow people who want to make the difficult choice to be able to do so.
Hi, Mr. Singh. Ashley Burke with CBC.
Hi.
Hi. Why are you focusing a lot of your attention here in BC this election?
Well, BC is really important because it's a province that I represent now as a BC member of Parliament representing Burnaby South. And there's been a lot of times when people in BC feel like they're neglected and ignored in an election. There's that sense that the West Coast is not given the attention it deserves. Massive population, an economic engine for the country, but it often feels ignored, and I don't want that to be the case. I know that people in BC want to be seen and want to be heard, and that's why I'm making it a very important part of my campaign to be here, to be present, and most importantly, to respond to the concerns that people have around housing, which we announced today that we would tackle that crisis, around healthcare, and around tackling the environment. The climate crisis is felt really distinctly in a lot of ways here in BC with the forest fires.
It's about 2 weeks into the election, and you already went straight to your home riding in Burnaby South. Some say that that's pretty early to go play defense in your own riding. What would you say to that?
No, not at all. I love being home. My wife was there, so I kind of missed her, if I can be really honest. I wanted to be able to spend some time with her. And I love being able to meet with the people of Burnaby, the people of Vancouver. And Burnaby is one of those communities where it's a pretty central place. People can come in from the Lower Mainland. It's very convenient for folks in Vancouver and in Port Coquitlam and in Surrey. So it's a great place to be able to meet with lots of folks. And I was happy to be able to talk about healthcare and our pharmacare plans and our plan to expand dental care. So it was a great time to be able to chat with folks.
Oui, Jérôme Labbé, Radio-Canada. Je vais me déplacer pour que vous puissiez me voir.
Oui, j'étais en train de demander la même chose.
Lorsqu'il y a une transaction immobilière, les municipalités engendrent généralement des revenus, du moins au Québec. Si vous imposez une taxe de 15 % aux acheteurs étrangers, il risque d'y avoir moins de transactions. Bref, est-ce que vous n'avez pas peur que votre promesse fasse diminuer de manière importante les revenus des municipalités?
Donc, oui, le but de cet impôt, c'est de défavoriser les gens qui seulement vont utiliser notre marché canadien comme un stock exchange. Donc, on veut arrêter ça. Donc, le but, c'est vraiment de décourager les gens de seulement utiliser le logement au Canada comme une spéculation. Donc, on veut arrêter ça. Mais on va continuer d'avoir des gens qui vont acheter des maisons, qui vont vendre des immobiliers. Ça va continuer.
Vous pensez que ça va être bien accueilli par les municipalités qui risquent de voir encore une fois leurs revenus diminuer?
Je pense que ça va avoir un impact seulement sur la spéculation, pas un grand impact sur les ventes et les chats des maisons. Ça va continuer. C'était toujours le cas qu'on va avoir ça. Donc, ce qu'on veut cibler, c'est l'impact de l'investissement étranger qui risque de rendre le potentiel d'acheter une maison pas possible.
So, Aperture with Fairchild TV.
Hi there.
Hi. So, BC has already implemented speculation tax and vacancy tax. Why does the federal NDP needs to reinvent the wheel to levy another foreign buyers tax?
Well, we've seen that the foreign buyers tax has worked in BC. It's helped cool the market and control the out-of-control astronomical rising costs of housing that we had seen before that. But we know that once there is a tax in place in one jurisdiction, the problem can just move to other jurisdictions. So we don't want there to be a scenario where people who are using the Canadian market like a stock exchange to put money in to drive up the cost of housing to just continue moving to other provinces. So we want to put something national. And also we acknowledge that the work of the BC government has resulted in housing being, the market's cooling a bit, but we know we can do a lot more. And so we want to build on the success by building and continuing with our federal tax.
So one of the problem is access to ownership by the younger generation because of the stress test of the decision, CMHC. Do you have anything to relieve those pressure for the younger generations?
Yeah, I believe that our tackling the root causes, so the speculation and the money laundering, these are two things that are driving up the cost of housing and making it impossible for a young person to ever buy a house. We want to tackle the root cause, and so that housing doesn't continue to rise too fast for young people to ever afford it. We also want to build affordable housing, and we know that affordable rental allows the market to be flexible enough for people to choose to buy a home or to rent a home. So we want to invest massively in building 500,000 new affordable homes, which will create a better opportunity for people to make a choice between buying or renting, but also make it easier for people to eventually buy a place.
Hey.
Hey.
So nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
So you and Justin Trudeau are campaigning in BC at the same time. Is there any sort of strategy to that, or any sort of plan?
Nothing particular. I mean, it happens. Though it's a big country, BC is also a very important place, so we ended up here at the same time. But it's a great chance for me to contrast and say we've got the phony pharmacare plan of the Liberals, where they've promised pharmacare for 22 years, and they normally make the promise in an election and then break it afterwards. Now they've broken the commitment in the election itself because they've committed to not bring in place a universal plan. And so this gives us a chance to show the contrast on things like the environment. And, their plan that Mr. Trudeau's talked about and the Liberal government's talked about is, again, just a phony plan that people can't believe, because we know when it comes down to it, Mr. Trudeau and the Liberal government have caved into the demands of big oil and gas. They met with the energy lobbyists 1,500 times and broke a commitment to end fossil fuel subsidies. So I'm happy to make the contrast. If you want someone that works for you, New Democrats are there for you. If you want someone that works for the powerful, the elite, then you can choose Liberals. I'm hoping people choose us.
Hi, Mr. Singh.
Hi there.
Mike Howell from the Vancouver Courier. You just met with the mayor. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about transit and the opioid crisis. Did you commit to funding the extension of the subway from Arbutus to UBC? This is something that Mayor Stewart has asked for. And on the opioid file, he has been lobbying for a clean supply of drugs. I just wanted to be clear on your positions.
Sure. I'll start with the infrastructure for public transit. So Mr. Mayor Kennedy, Mayor Kennedy Stewart, made it very clear that that's a priority for him. And I want to make it clear that a new Democratic government would support those types of investments. We've made it a part of our plan to tackle the climate crisis to massively invest in public transit. We know that this would reduce emissions. One of the biggest contributors to greenhouse gas emissions is transportation. So we've committed to investing massively in projects that communities want. And that means the other thing is it means specific projects where there's a consensus in a community, there's a regional consensus around that particular project you're speaking of. We want to support communities that want to build infrastructure for public transit. We want to make sure people have a better quality of life, and we're reducing emissions. So we've got a massive commitment to partner directly with cities in a direct allocation funding mechanism that would give access to cities that want to expand their transit. And then on the second question, the opioid crisis is devastating, and we're losing. Mayor Kennedy Stewart brought up that in Vancouver we're losing one person a day to the crisis. And I just think if there was any other illness or outbreak that resulted in that many deaths, there would be an immediate public emergency response. And so I made it clear that I would respond on day one of a new Democratic government, declare a public health emergency, open up funding and a legal framework to help those who are providing care to people on the ground, on the front lines. And then when it comes to the safe supply question, I'm open to anything that we can do to save lives. If there's evidence that supports a policy that saves people's lives, we've got to be open to that discussion. I've committed to changing our approach, which has been to criminalize addiction. That should not continue. And I've made that clear commitment that I would not do that. I'm open to the discussion around how we can save lives, and anything that has backing of evidence and experts, we need to be open to having that conversation.
On the housing file, you've made a big commitment to affordable housing. Can you give us any specifics on how that would lay out in the Lower Mainland? You're riding in Vancouver. How much housing can we be looking at here? So
we've put out a broad commitment, and there's two elements to our commitment. One is to tackle the underlying causes that are driving up the cost of housing. So we want to make a massive commitment to dealing with speculation with the foreign buyers tax, and to money laundering, which has driven up the cost of housing in BC at least 5%. But it might be a lot more. So we want to dedicate funding to an anti-money laundering division in the RCMP, specifically dedicated to tackling money laundering. And of the funding that we're committing, half of that should go to BC to tackle the issue because it's really ground zero here in BC. So that's to get the root cause. And then our commitment to the 500,000, 500,000 new affordable homes. We're going to roll out more details, but the broad commitment is this. We want to work with municipalities, with provinces, with not-for-profit organizations that want to build housing, and we want to back that up with federal money. This used to be the case 30 years ago, 3 decades ago. The federal government was involved in building cooperatives. It hasn't happened, and a large part of the gap in the housing market and affordable housing has directly been attributable to the fact that the federal government has not made investments. We've got to make up for that lost time by really investing boldly now.
ਭਾਜੀ ਗੌਤਮ here from Omni Television ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਜਵਾਬ ਦੇ ਸਕੋਗੇ ਪਲੀਜ਼
ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਜੀ
ਭਾਜੀ ਥੋੜਾ ਕੰਪਾਈਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਦੱਸਿਓ ਅੱਜ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕੀਤਾ
ਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ 3 ਵਿਸ਼ੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਸਹੂਲਤ ਵਧਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਵਾਅਦਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਨਿਊ ਡੈਮੋਕ੍ਰੈਟਿਕ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਰ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਸਹੂਲਤ ਹੋਵੇ ਦੂਜੀ ਗੱਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਦੇ ਘਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਖਰੀਦ ਸਕਦੇ ਇੰਨਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਮਹਿੰਗਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੋ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੁਛ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਸ ਮਸਲੇ ਦਾ ਹੱਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਨੀ ਲਾਂਡਰਿੰਗ ਜੋ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਰੋਕਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਦੂਜੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਦੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਸੁੱਟਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਘਰ ਦੀ ਮਹਿੰਗਾਈ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਵਧਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਰੋਕਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ 15% ਦਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਟੈਕਸ ਲਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਬਾਇੰਗ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਫਿਰ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕੰਟਰੋਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਘਰ ਖਰੀਦ ਸਕਣ ਤੇ ਅਖੀਰਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਓਪੀਓਇਡ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਸਿਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਨਸ਼ੇ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਮਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਇੰਨੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨਸ ਮਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਐਮਰਜੈਂਸੀ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਸਮਝਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬਚਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਛ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਧਿਆਨ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਆਪਾਂ ਰਿਸੋਰਸਿਸ ਵਰਤ ਸਕਦੇ ਉਹ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਬਚਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕ ਨਸ਼ੇ 'ਚ ਐਡਿਕਟ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਹੂਲਤ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਕੈਦ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਸੋ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਅਪਰੋਚ ਇਹ ਹੋਊਗਾ
ਦੂਜਾ ਸਵਾਲ ਭਾਜੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਟੂਡੂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅਪੋਲੋਜਾਈਜ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਫੋਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਐਕਸੈਪਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਅਪੋਲੋਜੀ
ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਸਾਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਪਬਲਿਕਲੀ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੀ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਵਰਤੇ ਕਿ ਆ ਦੇਖੋ ਮੈਂ ਜਗਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੂੰ ਫੋਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਠੀਕ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਆਹ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਮੈਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਾਫ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਆ ਉਹਨੇ ਅਸਲ 'ਚ ਮਖੌਲ ਉਡਾਇਆ ਜੋ ਆਮ ਲੋਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਘੱਟ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਕੌਮ ਹਰ ਰੋਜ਼ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਧੱਕਾਸ਼ਾਹੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰੇਸਿਜ਼ਮ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਗੱਲ ਦਾ ਮਖੌਲ ਬਣਾਤਾ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਮ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਔਖਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਘੱਟ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਹੋਣ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਯੂਨੀਕ ਆਈਡੈਂਟੀਟੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਲੋਕ ਮਖੌਲ ਬਣਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੁੱਟਦੇ ਵੀ ਸੀਗੇ ਬੜਾ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਸੀ ਸੋ ਉਹ ਲੋਕ ਹੀ ਮਾਫ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਾਫ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਧਿਆਨ ਦੇਈਏ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਔਖੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਬਿਹਤਰ ਹੋ ਸੌਖਾ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ
Hi, Mr. Singh. I just want to follow up on one of my colleagues' questions about opioids. I believe that during your leadership campaign back in 2017, you supported the idea of drug decriminalization. And in the current platform, it says that the party would end the criminalization and stigma of drug addiction.
Yes.
So would you decriminalize drugs if an NDP government were to get elected?
Yeah, we would absolutely change our approach. There is no reason that people who are dealing with mental health and addiction and poverty should be criminalized. That is the wrong approach. It means that people don't get the care they need, they don't get the help they need. And really, if you're dealing with mental health, addiction, and poverty, you don't need to be treated as a criminal. You need to be treated as a patient that needs health care and a compassionate response. And we want to save lives, and we cannot continue doing things the way we've done it in the past. If we want to change the outcome, we've got to change the way we do things.
Okay, and on a separate subject, sorry about this, lots of questions today.
No problem.
The Liberals today and the Conservatives have both come out with tax credits or grants in terms of retrofitting homes and helping homeowners do that. The Liberals are giving homeowners a $40,000 interest-free loan paid back over 10 years. The Conservatives are offering a refundable credit on your tax income for home improvements from $1,000 to $20,000. I know the NDP has something in their platform. It says it would save about $900 annually for families. I believe believe it's an interest-free loan. I'm wondering what you say, how your plan would benefit homeowners who are looking to retrofit potentially better than the other two parties and how it compares.
Well, the real comparison is this. The governments that we've seen in Ottawa, whether they've been liberal or conservative, have really made it their priority to help those at the top. They've helped the wealthiest, the most powerful, and they made it harder for everyone else. They made it harder for families. The economy feels rigged for so many Canadians. They feel like they're falling behind. We're committed to putting in plans that help people out. Our plan is not to help those at the top or the richest. And it's hard for people to believe Mr. Trudeau now and the Liberal government. They make a lot of commitments when elections come around and they break those commitments. And so this is another example of another fake promise. They're going to say whatever it takes to get elected, and it's not something that's credible. Our plan is real and credible, and people can believe us that we are committed to making sure we retrofit all homes and buildings, and that's really what it comes down to.
On a assez peu parlé de politique étrangère dans cette campagne, alors je vais me permettre une question. Vous ne devez pas être un très grand fan de Donald Trump. Est-ce que vous espérez que la procédure de destitution va fonctionner?
La
procédure de destitution, the impeachment procedure.
Oui, donc c'est la décision du gouvernement aux États-Unis. Pas les députés, mais les politiciens aux États-Unis vont faire cette décision. Mais je pense qu'il y a une grave inquiétude par rapport à ce que M. Trudeau a fait, les grandes erreurs qu'il a fait. Je pense qu'il y a plusieurs exemples de preuves pour aller de l'avant avec cette action, cette poursuite. Donc, c'est encore la décision du gouvernement aux États-Unis, mais je peux dire, je dénonce les propos de M. Trump. Je dénonce le fait que M. Trudeau a manqué les occasions de dénoncer les choses comme le traitement des réfugiés, le traitement des familles, le fait que les bébés prennent des mains des mères. C'était complètement décevant, le manque de leadership au Canada. Merci. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate the questions. Thanks so much.